Your body is running on two incredible master control systems. They handle everything from you deciding to pick up a cup of coffee to a life saving reflex you don't even think about. We're going to break down exactly how these systems of control and coordination let every living thing, and I mean everything, react, survive, and thrive.
So, have you ever done this? You touch something hot and your hand just yanks itself back before your brain even gets the memo that, hey, that hurts? It's that split second unconscious jerk away from danger. It's not magic, not at all. It's just your biology working perfectly.
Yeah, that reflex, it's all part of this incredible high speed network designed to keep you safe. So, today, let's dive into how these control systems actually work. And we're not just talking about us, we're going to look across the whole living world, including the surprisingly active life of plants. When you really boil it down, what is life all about? At its very core, it's about responding. To stay alive, every single living thing has to be able to react to the world around it. It's the fundamental challenge that drives pretty much all action. But why is responding so important? Well, for starters, it's for protection, like pulling your hand away from that flame. It's also for getting an edge. Think about a cat pouncing on a mouse. It's crucial for growth, like a plant literally bending itself to find more sunlight. And it's for simple sustenance, like a buffalo chewing its cud to digest food. Every move is a response to some kind of trigger. Okay, so we know why we respond, but how do animals pull off these lightning-fast reactions? Well, the first part of the answer is basically the body's very own electrical grid, the nervous system. And the star of this whole show is the neuron. The easiest way to picture it is as a tiny, super specialized wire in your body. It carries information using electrical impulses that can travel up to 268 miles per hour. That's why communication across your body feels pretty much instant. So how does a message actually get from point A to point B? It's a really cool little journey. First, a signal gets picked up at one end of the neuron. That kicks off an electrical impulse that zips down its length. But to get to the next neuron, it hits a roadblock, a tiny gap called a synapse. To cross it, the electrical signal gets converted into a chemical one, which jumps the gap and sparks a new electrical signal in the next cell. It's this incredible electrical to electrical relay race, and it all happens in milliseconds. But here's a key thing to remember. Not all responses are the same, not by a long shot. Think of it like your body has two different kinds of roads for sending messages. A slow, scenic route for deliberate thought, and a blazing fast superhighway for reflexes. Let's break that down. A reflex action, that's pure automatic instinct. It's managed by your spinal cord to be as fast as humanly possible, and its only goal is to protect you. A voluntary action, on the other hand, like writing something down or moving a chair, that's deliberate. That's you consciously telling your brain to do something. So one is for emergencies and the other is for, well, everything else. So why do we even need this split? Why not just have the brain handle everything? Well, this quote right here really hits the nail on the head. In a true life or death situation, the brain is just too slow. If you had to consciously think about moving your hand from a hot stove, you'd have a serious burn before your brain even finished processing the thought. That reflex arc completely bypasses the brain to give you a direct, immediate response. Now, the nervous system is incredible for speed, right? But it's not perfect for every job. It has some limitations. And that's where our second master control system steps in, a much slower, but way more widespread chemical messaging network. Think about it. That electrical grid is like a landline telephone system.
It can only send a message to the cells it's directly wired to. So, what happens when you need to send an announcement to the entire body at once? You can't call every single cell. You need something different, right? You need a broadcast system. And that broadcast system uses something called hormones. They're basically chemical messengers that float through your bloodstream to reach every nook and cranny. You've definitely heard of adrenaline, right? The classic fight or flight hormone that gets your whole body ready for action. Then there's insulin, which keeps your blood sugar in check, and thyroxine, which manages your metabolism. These chemicals create huge, body-wide, and lasting changes that electricity just isn't built for. Okay, so that covers animals. Nerves for speed, hormones for widespread messages. But what about plants? They just sit there, right? Well, not exactly. They're actually incredible masters of control in their own right, and we're going to see how they pull it off. I mean, really think about it. No nerves, no muscles. How in the world does a plant bend towards a window? How does a vine know how to wrap itself around a pole? The answer is just as sophisticated, but it's a totally different playbook. Turns out, plants have two main tricks up their sleeves. First, you've got these really fast movements that have nothing to do with growth. The famous touch-me-not plant is the perfect example. You touch it, and its leaves fold up instantly. That's all based on rapid changes in water pressure. But then there's the second type, which is much slower and is all about growth. It's called tropism, and it's how plants grow towards or away from things like light. So how does a plant actually do that? Let's look at how it bends toward light. First, the tip of the plant senses where the light is coming from. Then, this growth hormone called auxin kind of runs away from the light and builds up on the shady side. And here's the cool part. That buildup of auxin makes the cells on the shady side grow longer and faster. It's this lopsided growth that literally pushes the whole plant over, making it bend. It's not really moving, it's growing in a new direction. So clever. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. It's actually really elegant, isn't it? Every living thing has to respond to the world to survive. Animals developed a fast electrical grid for emergencies and a slower chemical broadcast for bigger changes. And plants? They went a completely different route, using their own brilliant chemistry and water pressure to control how they grow and move. You know, from that split-second reflex to the slow, deliberate turn of a sunflower toward the sun, it's all about control and coordination. Your body right now is conducting this unbelievably complex, silent symphony of signals, and you don't even have to think about it. So, I'll leave you with this. Which part of that silent, internal orchestra do you find the most amazing? Definitely something to think about.